This is Noelle Fuller, and this is my discovery project on Roman hairpins. For my discovery project, I will be creating my own Roman hairpin. This is relevant to our course because we discuss the Roman Empire and their cultural significance in art and architecture. A form of art that isn't commonly discussed is hairstyles as well as the hair accessories. Hair accessories were made by hand with care and craftsmanship, so I have done my best to recreate a hairpin that's inspired by the Romans. Archaeologists typically found these hairpins by female skulls, so they figured it was used for the hair. There was other evidence for this as well, but that's pretty much to sum it up. These pins would typically be made out of bone or ivory and would have a little design on the top that they would create. Now the design would vary from super simple to very intricate, as you can see on the left, to just a sphere, to a pine cone, to a whole portrait of a woman. Now the portrait of the woman, historians believe, would either be a portrait of whoever the owner was or of a loved one that passed away. So you might be wondering why you don't see a lot of these hairpins in Roman art like sculptures or portraitures, but this was because that these pins were typically for the lower class or people who could not afford to do their hair as intricately as the upper class did or the socialites of the time. These were still very common and still used as a tool for socialites. They just wouldn't keep them in their hair, whether the lower class would, as it was just an easy way to do their hair and to keep it tight. They typically would have two, but they could use one as well. The upper class would have these in like gold and precious metals with like gems on them, really fancy, while the lower class would have them in the bone and ivory. And they were very common and they were seen all over. Something else that I found interesting that there was, as they found these, there was evidence that some were used as a self-defense weapon for these women, that there was evidence of these in the eyes of men or in the tongues of men, probably because there was an unfortunate situation where the man was being aggressive to the woman and they would use this hairpin as a self-defense weapon, which I think is incredibly smart. Sad that that has to have happened, but very resourceful, and definitely could see why any girl would want to keep one handy, keep one in her hair. Before I played the video, I just want to apologize. The video angle is very terrible. I kept forgetting I was videoing and taking the work I was working on off camera. So you can see things are happening. There's shavings, there's random stuff, but you can't really see any details. But I promise you it's great. Okay, so pretty much I had this giant stick and I started whittling it down. I made three smaller sticks. The first two were too short and too thin, but my third one was about the perfect size. So that's one I went with to design the tip of it. I chose to do a cute little rosebud because I really like flowers, so I thought, why not? You can see all my shavings there. They look great. They look fantastic. Anyway, so I'm just whittling it. I did use a Dremel tool. They wouldn't have used the Dremel tool back in the day. But I chose to do this because I really wanted to have it look smooth and look like it was almost bone. So I sacrificed the use of traditional tools for making it look as close as possible for the lack of having bone or ivory. This is my finished product. There's the tip, and there's as smooth as I could make it for my Roman hairpin. I think it turned out pretty okay. Here it is in my hair. and I had it in my hair for a good while, honestly. It was pretty good. I mean, this hairpin, this style is used even today, which goes to show how this hair accessory survived all the way from the Roman period. It kept coming back and it kept, going in and out of style from even today. So that's cool to see the cultural significance of that. These are my works cited, and thank you so much for letting me share what I have learned and to letting me share my Roman hairpin.